some time, chilling out and feeling fine. You don't have to be mad, you don't have to be sane, but it helps you to get a ticket to board the party train. We'll slip, jet test trip as the current flows. Whether we'll need a power unit changed by Doncaster, no one knows. Traction motor flash over in the night. Main generators readings are good, so we'll be alright. Seduced by the signals, all that green, as far into the distance as can be seen. Tunnels of fun and through cuttings of desire. Now the collector drummer set the night on fire. We're on the party train, racing through the night. There's a lunatic at the controls. The tracks run out in the morning light. The Deltic's racing through the night. The Deltic's racing through the night. 3,300 horsepower of Napier Deltic might.
I mean, what's our needs in this? I mean, a bloody this!
As the towns go flashing by and the stars shine in the sky, come aboard if you got what it takes, but beware, the party train's got no brakes. Over streams, rivers, fields of sunflower, Bruce drinks his wine at 100 miles per hour. Hey, Antia's looking good, man. Jack Carter sips his scotch, chick apartment in Coach C. On the train to Newcastle to avenge a murder of Fit Brothers where he's got to be. Gliding over the stinking brown water of the tide. Color lights all at green, so he's making time. You knew what he'd do. Champagne watches on the polished wooden floors. Fire eaters walk the dim lit corridors. Don't be dragged down by the fools in the stound us. Immerse yourself in the fun that surrounds us. Like shooting stars we race over misted streams, performing acts I've not dreamt in my wildest dreams. No station stop on this high-speed line, but I don't worry, I drink my wine. The price of a ticket, no heart to measure. Let's ride on the party train of pleasure. We're on the party train, racing through the night. There's a lunatic at the controls. The tracks are late in the morning light. We're on the party train, racing through the night. There's a lunatic at the controls. The tracks are late in the morning light. The Deltic's racing through the night.
Diesel fumes, stale beer and urine. Just look at the state that you're in. Diesel fumes, stale beer and urine. Just look at the state that you're in. King's Cross in the 1970s, a dead pigeon in the station clock. Taxi cabs wait for fares, queuing round the block. Wooden escalators, smoking on the tube. Excuse me sir, can you spare some change for a wimpy for a dude? Dirty girls who will turn tricks for under a $5. Give you a discount if you're a train driver. Diesel fumes, stale beer and urine. Just look at the state that you're in. Just look at the state that you're in. Heat and pipes wait for the Scottish night trains. Parcel burrows sit at the platform end in heavy grey rain. Football fans in tartan vests, flare jeans, ankle socks and hairy chairs. Class 31 on a Suburban over winding lines. Ticket collector jumps on and issues fines. Diesel fumes, stale beer and urine. Diesel fumes, stale beer and urine. Diesel fumes, stale beer and urine.
Chips and curry at midnight in Sheffield's dingy grime. Then get a Transpen 9 unit to Donny and catch a 40 if it's on time. Harwich Park Eston Key boat train with a white roof duff and a peek through to Derby and back if that is not enough. Let's all go on and an East Midlands Ranger, ride behind Deltics all day in the sunshine. Let's all go on an East Midlands Ranger, bashing on the peaks on the Midland main line. Let's all go on an East Midlands Ranger, avoid ticket grip danger. Can't think of anything stranger than spending all week on an East Midlands Ranger. Have a day bashing 20s to Skeggy, eat fish and chips on the beach if you're not a veggie. CAC Electrics at rugby. If you're a proficient timetable arranger, you can get a few class 40s in on an East Midlands Ranger. Let's all go on an East Midlands Ranger, ride behind Deltics all day in the sunshine. Let's all go on an East Midlands Ranger, bashing on the peaks on the Midland main line. Let's all go on an East Midlands Ranger, avoid ticket grip danger. Can't think of anything stranger than spending all week on an East Midlands Ranger.
Arthur Brink's dark, miserable eyes survey a DMU on a delayed Sheffield train, running 20 minutes late on low-level platform 3 in the rain. Would passengers please quickly make their way to platform 2 for the train? to Doncaster, Selby and York. Arthur retreats to his ticket, collecting cabin for his 29th cup of tea and a pie made of pork. Arthur is neither your foe or your friend. Arthur is just looking forward to the time that his shift will end. The clock slowly goes tick-tock, tick. Time drags by so slowly for Arthur Brick. The next train to arrive at platform 1 is the late running 1911 to King's Cross. That should now be long gone. On cold nights Arthur sits beside the roaring waiting room fire. As he stares into the flames, finishing his shift is his only desire. The clock slowly goes tick-tock, tick. Time drags by so slowly for Arthur Brick. The next train to arrive at platform 1 is the late running 1911 to King's Cross. That should now be long gone. On cold nights Arthur sits beside the roaring waiting room fire. As he stares into the flames, finishing his shift is his only desire.
Embassy number 6 and a dripping tap are a sign of Mrs. Stoddart's yellow darn bloomers rotting on her washing line. Oh, she was such a beauty in her day, but years of booze, cigs and cats washed it all away. Mr. Ben. As the days get longer, the brandy flows to forget the forgotten husband that nobody knows, who chased her around the garden with a bat. But the memory is buried because we don't talk about that. As the days get longer, the brandy flows to forget the forgotten husband that nobody knows, who chased her around the garden with a bat. But the memory is buried because we don't talk about that. Mrs. Stoddart's paraffin powered TV fills the void where her life used to be. Black and white ghosting through the minstrel show, golden shot, top of the pops, legs and code. John Craven's news round, tomorrow people, ace of wands, indoor league, ghosts of Motley Hall, Randall and Hopkirk deceased. Fading focus in a vertical hold of fog haze, watching rising damp, Cracker Jack and Happy Days. Fading focus in a vertical hold of fog all day. Mr. Trimble, Pipkins and Howard's Way.
Archie McKray worked through the night and day, building a new bridge high over the river Forth. After work he'd go for a few bivvies at the bar. He staggered home along the rails to the north, but he wouldn't get too far. Burn no matter how hard old Archie tried, he couldn't get a good woman to sit down by his side. The long winter months alone on the hills would make him weep, until he went to the farmer in the village and he married a local sheep. When the long day of work ends, old Archie would tire. Archie and Mildred would drink whiskey by the fire. They kept each other happy and warm through the dark winter nights. In summer they walked home along the rails and watched the northern lights. After 7 long years and 73 lost souls, the final girder was put into place. Archie tightened the last bolt with a tear in his eye and a smile upon his weather-worn face. Archie and Mildred walked home to their cottage on the outskirts of town. An unscheduled test train came storming round the bend and mowed the poor buggers down. Their bodies exploded, releasing their souls, but Mildred's carcass cooked on the boiler like a lamb casserole as the mist stop here.
Look at the Fayum, look at the Fayum, look at the Fayum, look at that fire. Look at the Fayum, look at the Fayum, look at the Fayum, look at that fire. Look at the Fayum, look at the Fayum, look at the Fayum, look at that fire. Look at the Fayum, 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 look at the F Look at the flames drawing you in, let your sleep begin. Eyes getting heavy, the night Scotsman can wait. Whether you see it or not, we'll simply have to be down to fade. Flames are getting higher and higher. You don't need a hairdryer. Feel your eyes are beginning to tire. Flames are getting higher and higher. You don't need a hairdryer. Feel your eyes are beginning to tire. Flames are getting higher and higher. You don't need a hairdryer. Feel your eyes are beginning to tire. Look at the fire, look at the fire, look at the fire, look at that fire. Got the fire, the fire, the fire, the doctor. There's a frozen moon rising over her tunnel road. There will be plenty of time to get numbers of passing freight trains before you get old. There's a missing cat somewhere out there in the night. She didn't see the night Scotsman coming into sight. Cut clean off her head as it rested on the railway line. Her rotting day's over, and now the baby rabbit she caught will be fine. Look at the flames drawing you in, let your sleep begin. Eyes getting heavy, the night Scotsman can wait. Whether you see it or not, we'll simply have to be down to fade. Flames are getting higher and higher. You don't need a hairdryer. sun that rose. Catch the ripples of a faded Deltic's nose. Patiently waiting for fresh engines into the autumn night. As more parts are borrowed, the hope begins to fade like the autumn light. As the winters pass the main line, it's but a distant dream. No more blast through gas works tunnel where the engines scream. Time passes so slowly in a plan for the true faded race horses that will never run again. Left to rot and be robbed, silently stand, waiting in the rain. Surplus to requirements, non-standard. Can this be real? In the frozen mist, they are shunted under Goliath. I know how they feel. Now it's almost 2 years. The beasts have been waiting in hope as the gas axe finally falls. Proud name boards are removed. They will never escape these walls. Once there was hope, but now none, or so it would seem. in the speeding dusty buffet car, rocking like it might leave the rails. Dim lights go dark as the steam heating fails. Hilda Ogden polishes the rotting corridors. She sings to the ghost of Stan. Mrs. Walker pulls the pines for land fair clothes to drink as fast as he can, while the Corrie goes train before it falls apart. Over the viaduct, broken dreams where Elsie Tanner first broke your heart. From Manchester slums all the way to Blackpool North, every night the Corrie Ghost train runs back and forth. Over rooftops of broken TVs, aerials that no longer receive, 405 lines from the past. Now they're all dead and gone, although it's hard to believe. Ernie Bishop got shot through the brain long before he ever boarded the Corrie Ghost train. Nina Caldwell is still missing her cat. It got tangled in Ena Sharple's hair, and that's such a shame about that. In the remains of the toilet is the smoke from Ben Lynch's cigarette that slowly turns, seeping through the broken glass to tar stain as Ivy Tilsley's empty handbag burns. From Manchester slums all the way to Blackpool North, the Corrie Ghost train runs every night back and forth. Over rooftops of old broke TV, aerials that no longer receive, There's a car to the top, left by Sylvia, but she doesn't work these streets anymore. She was the last seen going in to a house on Grayson Road, where she accidentally fell through an unlocked trapdoor. She used the King's Cross call box of broken dreams as her office and home. Always out with a client, but always alone, because Sylvia's life ain't what it seems, and neither is the King's Cross call box of broken dreams. There is a bar called the Flying Scotsman, where the walls are caked in grime. The rust and gas lights on the wall make you think you've gone back in time, where the girls will dance all night until the bells are set back. 'Cause early morning chimes, they've all used the call box on the Houston Road. It's open on Christmas Day and when the nights are cold. She used the King's Cross call box of broken dreams as her office and home. Always out with a client, but always alone, because Sylvia's life ain't what it seems, and neither is the King's Cross call box of broken dreams. She used the King's Cross call box of broken dreams as her office and home. Always out with a client, but always alone, because Sylvia's life ain't what it seems, and neither is the King's Cross call box of broken dreams. The King's Cross call box of broken dreams as her office and home. Always out with a client, but always alone, because Sylvia's life ain't what it seems, and neither is the King's Cross call box of broken dreams.
It's still late summer in the rest of the northern hemisphere, but it feels more like November here. Welcome to Scotland's east coast, where the sun's never seen and warmth's never been. The party girls of Leith will always keep you warm in a dingy hotel room where the carpets are warm. You can bring your own can of super brew, and for 25 quid we'll do anything that you want us to. So welcome to the Mary Queen of Scots Hotel and Holiday Apartments, Leith. Prices from £10 a night and beneath. We're open all year, could you please spare a tab to keep behind my ear in August? You can sometimes see the Northern Lights. Prices from £10 a night. smells of Leith will always keep you warm. In a dingy hotel room where the lights are low and the carpets are warm, you can bring your own can of super brew, and for 25 quid we'll do anything that you want us to. Class 47, your rancid piece of souls are junk. You're pointless, soulless, and stink like a dead diesel-soaked skunk. There are too many of your bland blue brothers on the rails. The only good duff is either a dead duff or a duff that fails. When Stratford had them, they painted silver roof grills. When Scotland had to endure them, they found they couldn't climb hills. There are 513 too many spoons that are only rated by insects and goons. There are 513 too many spoons. Sorry've been turning up where they're not wanted for too many moons. Oh, to the Duff, the dull 47, turning up and spoiling Deltic Hall fun. Oh, to the Duff, the dull 47, Rushfor's how I wish they wouldn't run. There are 513 too many spoons that are only rated by insects and goons. There are 513 too many spoons. They've been turning up where they're not wanted for too many moons. Oh, to the Duff, the dull 47, turning up and spoiling Deltic Hold fun. Oh, to the Duff, the dull 47, for Rushfor's how I wish they wouldn't run.
Uncle Ernest drives his rusty Ford Anglia down the street. Ill intentions in his mind, Jesus, sandals upon his feet. Beat, beat. Beat, beat. Whiskey on his breath, yes, like his brother said. Greasy comb over in a hand shandy shake, a constant stoop that gives him back
Sweaty palms and sweaty pits, but he doesn't care. He used to drive a Mr. Whippy ice cream van. He will still sell you a flake or a screwball if he can. But the council banned him on uncommon grounds. Now Uncle Ernest no longer does his rounds. Apart from in his rusty Ford Angular, that's tires are worn. If you get in his way, he'll give you his horn. Beep, beep. He'll give you his horn. Beep, beep.
Back in 1971, the bulbs have all blown and the stale cakes have gone. Frayed wires and a soap dish of flies. Where are all the atoms from my turquoise surprise? I can only just remember it, it was the thing I loved the best. And I recorded my favorite record, Ernie, with the fastest milk cart in the West. How can I prove that it ever existed? Now it's gone. And where are all the dead cats from 1971? Where are the atoms of my turquoise tape player that I saw buried in the snow? With the recording of the Valdunican show that I made oh so long ago. Where are the atoms of my turquoise tape player? Has it been dispersed back into the universe, still playing Leo Sayer? Uncle Bill's liver as he rots in his grave, the atoms of the bits of his liver that could never ever be saved. At our Christmas party in 1971, where are the atoms of his piss that flushed down the toilet, all gone? Where are the atoms from the bits of his rotting brain that remember my turquoise tape player and what it was playing? How many of these atoms are clustered together in any one place? And where are the atoms of the worms that were eating Uncle Bill's face? Where are the atoms of my turquoise tape player that I saw buried in the snow? With the recording of the Valdunican show that I made oh so long ago. Where are the atoms of my turquoise tape player? Has it been dispersed back into the universe, still playing Leo Sayer? Where are the atoms of my turquoise tape player that I saw buried in the snow? With the recording of the Valdunican show that I made oh so long ago. Where are the atoms of my turquoise tape player? Has it been dispersed back into the universe, still playing Leo Sayer? Playing Leo Sayer. Oh, playing Leo Sayer. Playing Leo Sayer.
and quick. Flying bananas, bean cans or trams, they really make you sick. With plastic looks, sticky brakes, and the screaming sound it makes. X-Men, Ballad, power under the hood is what makes the move so good. You better believe it's the only way to travel, and they're endorsed by Jimmy Savile. Intercity 125, saw coming, baby, and sleek and quick. Flying bananas, bean cans or trams, or will really make you sick. With plastic looks, sticky brakes, and the screaming sound it makes. X-Men, Ballad, power under the hood is what makes the move so good. You better believe it's the only way to travel, and they're endorsed by Jimmy Savile. Better believe it's the only way to travel, and they're endorsed by Jimmy Savile. They're endorsed by Jimmy Savile. It's the only way to travel, and they're endorsed by Jimmy Savile. Ooh, it's the only way to travel, and they're endorsed by Jimmy Savile. With plastic lips, stinky brakes, and the screaming sound it makes. X-Men, Ballad, power under the hood is what makes the move so good. And they're endorsed by Jimmy Savile.
Lines down at Biggleswade say reports. Job stopped at Stevenage with a 91 out of sorts. Pantograph damage south of Newark, Northgate. All southbound Azumas are running 90 late. Lines down at Biggleswade. Why didn't they use decent knitting on the East Coast main line? It would have been so much more fitting. Lines down at Biggleswade. Why didn't they use decent knitting? Oh, and decent trains so you don't get a sore arse on an Azuma if you're sitting. Bus replacement between Donnie and Leith because of wind damage to the overhead power feeds. Points failure at the cross, 120 quid fine for being on the wrong train. Sorry for your loss. Lines down at Biggleswade. Why didn't they use decent knitting on the East Coast main line? It would have been so much more fitting. Lines down at Biggleswade. Why did down at Biggleswade, say reports. Job stopped at Stevenage with a 91 out of sorts. Lines down at Biggleswade. Why didn't they use desubmitting on the East Coast main line? It would have been so much more fitting. Lines down at Biggleswade. Why didn't they use desubmitting? Oh, indecent trains so you don't get a sore arse on an Asuma if you're sick.